just beautiful. Here we are again talking about my wonderful decision to buy a 2008 Maserati Quattroporte. I said to myself, for the price I paid for it, why would I go out and buy a Honda Civic or a nice BMW? But I've owned a lot of BMWs, I just wanted to try something different. So I said, let's go buy something silly, buy an Italian car that makes no sense at all, and we'll see if it was actually the right decision to make. Like, look! She's beautiful! $9,000, and I got this car, and like a $9,000 budget would not even get you a Honda Civic, a Toyota Corolla, and why would you drive that when you can drive this? I have to do a pull. This car has a 53-47 weight distribution, which is what Ferrari thinks is the optimal weight distribution for a car. So that basically means that the engine is put right around here, and then the majority of the weight happens between here and here, in between the two wheels, which causes the car to handle beautifully. I have to talk a little bit about my car. This car I found on the internet. It was one out of 2 Quattroportes that was being sold. Quattroporte is such a cool sounding name. What it really just means is 4-door, and the reason they can get away with it is because Ferrari did not make any 4-door cars. It sounds so cool in Italian that they're able to get away with it. I saw it, I liked it, negotiated down the price to $9,000. Of course, because it is Italian, it does have a few things going on with it. When I first bought it, I really needed to change the brakes. The brakes were really bad, and they were literally rubbing right on the metal. Another issue I have with this car is the suspension. This car has a special suspension called the Skyhook suspension. The Skyhook suspension is where it has special dampening things, so when I hit the sport button, which of course is very complicated because it's on the TV, which is the entertainment thing, which is supposed to be the navigation, but also telephone, but also controls the suspension. This button, which I don't know what it does. Park off, which also makes no sense because the parking sensor is over there, which also leads you to this. The interior of this car was designed by someone who just had to get the job done, and it was like, we'll design a perfectly beautiful car. Oh, Habibi, come in, do the interior, we have to release the car tomorrow, yalla yalla yalla, get it done. So like, oh, it's perfect. It puts the carbon fiber, got a beautiful Maserati interior which looks nice but makes no sense at all. Let me tell you a little bit about what I find wee bit irritating.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Okay, let's take a quick look at this website. Let's say we want to find a part. 2009 BMW 335, a really common car that will definitely need some parts. I can't fix the suspension issue because I can't find any parts. And BMW 335, as you can see, there are a ton of different parts that we can buy for our engine. But of course, we have the infamous valve covers that go. Look at the prices, $145 for an ultra power part. Probably not my favorite part, but for something pretty good like a Dorman part or a Rain part, still a lot cheaper than the $800-900 that you're paying at the regular Napa. Back to the Maserati, of course. Look at that. The only option we have under engine is oil. This basically means nothing goes wrong with the car because we don't need any parts. All we need is oil, as Rock Auto tells us. At least with the Mercedes air suspension, you can buy the parts for a stupid price like $1,500. But with this car, you can't even find the bloody parts. In my case, I need quite a few parts, and unfortunately, a lot of those parts come under engine, like valve cover gaskets or just any timing chain cover gaskets. Very small little parts, and I just can't find them. And my biggest one right now at this moment is to deal with that suspension light. Oh, wait a second. There are no suspension parts, so obviously there are no issues, but obviously there is an issue because we have a suspension light. I can't deal with it because I can't find the bloody parts. In other words, there are just no parts available on this website, and that seems to be the trend. Website after website after website. And this was the same deal with buying brakes. I went to a million different parts stores here in the UAE trying to find brakes. Everyone quoted me something like 1,800 dirham, 2,500 dirham just for the front pads. All the mechanic shops, can you rebuild the suspension? Can you do it the Habibi way? Can you do it the Indian way? No, 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 no. You have to go to the dealer, you have to buy the $4,000 per shock suspension. More of the story is, I'm really enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying this part of tracking down parts. I've so far put about 15,000 kilometers on this car. 15,000 kilometers without doing anything other than the brakes, because they need to get done, which is not that bad, seeing that we drove this car all the way to Al Ain, we drove it all the way to Dubai quite a few times, and I have to say, unlike a lot of modern day cars, it does have heart. The engine sounds gorgeous, the steering is stiff, but it's not too stiff. I would like to keep a car like this in my collection. It has character in the sense that, of course it has, it's Maserati European car problems. It is one of the last true Ferrari-built Maseratis before it got switched over to Chrysler. And that is actually one of the reasons I keep the car, is because it is the last of the Quattroporte that is true to its heritage, which is actually Italian and built by Ferrari to be a beautiful four-door Ferrari. E65 BMW 750 would be equivalent to this car, and it just doesn't compare because of the way it was designed. Yes, the 7 Series had nicer interior, or actually that's debatable. The interior on this car looks nicer than the 7 Series, but the 7 Series was just put together so much better than this car. Today, this car looks a lot more pretty than the 7 Series, even though the 7 Series used more revolutionary and more advanced technologies and design aspects to it, whereas this car is just stuck to the classics, stuck to just building a beautiful curvy car without too much going on. And that's a key. Without too much going on brings that simplicity, but they kept the curves, they kept the beauty of this car. And yes, I can go rambling on forever about the differences between the design of this car and that car, and how beautiful Ferrari is because they just build timeless design cars. Every time I look at a car and I drive a car, I have to build a connection to the car. And I have to say, this car does get there. Yes, it's about reliability and fuel consumption, the mumbo jumbo stuff about the environment, but it's also about loving your car. Another big thing is not to dwell on the appearances that the car gives you. It's not about, yes, you own a Maserati, oh wow, look at the Maserati, he owns a Maserati, he must be so rich, he must be so intelligent, and what. It's not about that. It's about building a connection with your car, and when you drive the car, enjoying it. And that is something that's lost in today's society. People view a car like they view a cell phone. And that's really, really sad, honestly. Because you look at the Teslas and they're basically your iPhone. You got your iPhone S, your iPhone X, you have iPhone 13, and you look at them, they honestly just are a block with a black screen. And that's what today's cars are. They all do exactly the same thing, with slightly different performances, slightly better camera here, slightly better screen over there. But the essence and the character of the car is just not there. Whereas we look at these slightly older cars, the BMW 3 Series, the E90s, that still had the steering wheel that was as hard as a rock. You had to basically be gymming every single time you drive the car. You look at this Maserati where the engine just has this incredible pull and the sound is absolutely gorgeous. The steering wheel is not overly light, and you're like, this car has character, and you enjoy driving it. You build a connection. It feels like the car is looking after you as you're driving this car. That's a really cool feeling that we've forgotten about in today's society. Even with BMW and their new cars, the G-Class, the steering wheel is electric, and with an electric steering wheel you have the numbness of an electric steering wheel. You don't have that road feedback. Like over here, I'm about to turn this corner and I already feel the rivets inside the road. And that's a big thing because really,
It's a big thing, huh?
so the question is, was it worth it? I still own the car and it's been 6 months, so you decide. Tell me what you think in the comments below, subscribe and follow my channel and let me know what other kind of videos that you guys want to see and I would love to video them. I have a cool new video coming out. It's about a BMW that I bought with 360,000 kilometers on it that I paid really little money for, and was that a really good idea? I guess we'll find out.